are we manifesting out of fear or out of love? Are we manifesting to prove to somebody else? Are we it's like, so it's like, okay,
it may be a little bit
I
of
want
all
to,
of
and it
three.
could be a little bit of
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
And that's where I say is that, again, use it as fuel, whatever it takes. Remember we talked about motivation is external, inspiration is internal. But even with the, a lot of my very, very high achieving students, my straight A's, and I told you about the one I said, and he got the B. In my world, I was like, so glad he got the B. And it's funny, we did talk about that not too long ago, and I'm looking at him and I'm just going, he's like, what? And I go, oh my gosh. I said, do you know where you were a year ago? Do you? Because he was just like, oh, I got like 4 assignments. I haven't even done them. And of course, the kid's a straight A student, but I mean, he's just not, it just wasn't in his world right then, because I think he was always trying to prove that he was good enough or overcome whatever. And a lot of times what I'm seeing is that when some of our young people are hyper focused, or like even when I was, or like when we were younger, it was to avoid or to not face a lot of the shame and the guilt, and the whatever, you come from poor, so I never want anybody to look at me like that. Or, as a female, I never want to, not be able to stand into a room with males, or, a cultural thing. And so, which again can be a wonderful thing, but that's where I also say, but then you got to understand where you are. There's still a game to be played. And if you keep coming in with this, like, this is going to happen, that's going to happen under this, you're going to end up being like your own worst enemy, because it's like every level that you level up is a different set of rules,
I like that too.
Yep. And I definitely, as I said, you can be in little league and you're kind of running around and you're doing this. We got some
Oh, you
daddy
so
ball
pretty.
coaching, and we got some of this. Girls are playing, boys are playing. Everybody just looks cute. I said, and then all of a sudden you get into like travel ball and you start getting in like, high school, you're winning state champions, D1. I said, it is at every level, it is different. And you can't level up and still act like,
No, you gotta check
gotta
yourself.
play
Be like,
by
are
the
you
rules.
ready for this? Because
Right.
this is gonna come with change.
Right. And you're gonna make it knock down a little bit.
Yeah. You gotta be ready for it.
and that's what I'm saying. And well, I'd worked with, one of the college athletes, and he was an international student, Division 1, was raised in European, basketball, unbelievable young man, and then got injured. And so ended up, at our state's college, which is a wonderful school, but it was like, he was so lost because he was so mindset, his whole life was one way, family played, it was just a different thing. So now he's in United States, he's by himself. And he literally looked at me and he was like, Dr. Robin, I know this sounds dumb, but I had to learn to do laundry. And of course, and I'm kind of giggling, and he goes, no, I'm serious. Like, it's always been done for me, and I know like what that took for him. And so, and it was so cool to really be able to work with him who manifested, who got there and then fell off. So there's even that of like, now what do I do?
So I think that's a part of it
Right,
too,
it
is
is.
knowing that you are gonna fall off.
Right.
You're gonna fall off the path at some point. And that's what I try to not only do for my own mindset, but like for other clients, is like, there's going to be times when you trip and fall and you're on that balance beam or whatever, and you're going to fall off and have to get right back on.
Absolutely.
Because it happens.
Absolutely.
And it happens to us. It will not happen. I don't think it'll ever stop. Like sometimes I just like want to manifest a dream, like sitting in my porch or in a different country and just sipping some wine. No wine, no nothing. Just sipping some wine
Just
and
holding
no
out my hand
worries.
for other things.
Yeah, no.
Send me grapes, please.
Yeah, exactly. No worries.
Right,
But
no
you know
worries.
what? Like, I gotta have realistic expectations
Absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
it's going to take a lot of hard work if I really do want that one day.
Absolutely.
So do you think, well, let me ask you all this, because again, I'm, my approach is a little bit different. So let's say that you have, young people or even your children, and they come to you with this idea, because I know with me, I go, okay, I love that. But do you have a B, a C, a D, a G, a Q plan? Like, if that doesn't, do we have this? Like, how would y'all handle, a young person, or even or actually maybe even somebody older that says, well, I've tried everything and nothing works, so I'm never going to have a good life. Because like what Jeremy talked about, in our last podcast about the 80-year-old that had a 20-year plan.
Oh,
I go, that was fantastic. And you will answer my
Right.
phone call.
Say that. Yeah.
But a lot of people get to a place and they just go, well, my life is over. And I can't, and I didn't.
Well,
and
what I'm about to say may be a little bit different from what you asked. I've always been told, even though we know we do need things to fall back on, but I don't think I've ever presented or asked my kids about, or my clients or whoever, about a plan B, because a plan B means, for some, if you're looking at plan B, if you know you have a plan B, then you're not going to really execute plan A as great as you can, because you can fall back on something, right? So I always say, okay, if we're looking at it like plan B, plan A type thing, this is your plan. Okay, if this is your plan, tell them the mistakes they may make along the way. Tell them, that they may fall, but they have to get back up. I would say include everything in the plan and not say, okay, what's your plan B if that doesn't work out? No. Keep working at plan A, because there's still some things in plan A that maybe you do need to continue to do, because sometimes it may not happen the first time.
Right. Or the people might give up.
Right. But that doesn't mean you have a plan B. It just means, okay, it didn't work out the first time, but I can keep doing it. It's almost like the 7-Up drink. Okay, it took 7 times to get it right. I mean, I'm just saying, I think that for some young people, maybe they can, be okay with a plan B. But I would say, personally, for my own kids, the plan B thing, no. Because that kind of gives them that little cushion to say, okay, well, it didn't work out, I'll just go to plan B.
And it's really quick. Sometimes they don't put enough
effort
into
right.
that.
So
but
hopefully.
Well, I think when you need a plan B is for when you've switched your mindset of maybe plan A, you didn't want it as much as you thought you did, maybe.
Okay.
Or plan A, maybe it's not ready for you yet. So do plan B while you're still have it in the mind. Okay. So just something easy. Okay, I want to be a billionaire. Let's work on our first million first, and then we'll work on our $1 billion.
$10 might be nice right now.
That's what I mean.
But at that time, is that considered an unrealistic expectation?
Right.
It could happen.
Right. It could happen, but it's okay, we need to scale back and go backwards a little bit to get to plan B, possibly. That's what I'm thinking. And it made me think, because you said kids. So my own kids, just thinking of my son who's finishing up his first year. He just finished his first year in college. His whole thing was, I want to work for mom. I want to work for mom. And he just now got this idea. I don't know. I think my husband put it in his head of oh, you can go into the military as an officer once you graduate, and you can immediately get more money and you get more security and blah, blah, blah. So he was like, you know what, Mom? I wonder if I should do that first so that I could get the medical benefits and all that, being kind of more set up, learn even more. But he's that's another option. So I processed that with him. It's okay, that's an option for you. Why don't you look more, if you really think that that's what you want, look more to go sit with a recruiter, do the steps. You got to take action on that, and actually don't just say, oh, I could do this, when you really don't know what that entails. So I think that's kind of maybe an option B, or just an alternative, but not giving up on, I want to be where mom is one day. Because that, you know what I mean? So he eventually, that's his goal, is to be where mom is and work for mom or have a Bella. But
and that's still part of the plan.
It's still part of the plan. Right? But he might go this route first. It may pivot. He might have to go different. So
I guess that's what I was asking. Is that because, again, I'm always coming in from I coached. I've been in athletics my whole life. And so, again, I think I've worked so much with a very high achieving mindset that I'm almost having to go, okay, they're already up here. And I think where I was saying is okay, but we're not there yet, and that's, I think you guys both said it the way that I was thinking. I even had one client one day, she goes, can you give me another metaphor that's not athletics? She goes, I really don't know what you're talking about. I go, shopping? Okay, we can shop.
I was going to say, tell her to come to me.
Yeah.
I will give her a song.
And we're going to probably have to do grocery shopping, because I'm not a big shopper. But but it was so cute. And
Get everything on your shopping list.
Making sure that, my little professor playbook over here, I'm everything to me is so, I'm always thinking, top. And especially for athletes, their shelf life is so small that it is such a different focus, because it's like they do put so many things on the back burner because they know, like, I might have 5, years professionally if that's the goal, or getting them here. There's always that possibility of getting hurt. They have to say no to certain things, girlfriends, boyfriends, or, I mean, so they've already made so many sacrifices at that point that sometimes I am saying, okay, if you get injured, if, I kind of
see it
bring
that
them
way.
back into a roundness of, okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if we don't look at it and you do fall, are you going to be able to, get back up?